Good morning, everyone. This is Bernd Christian Giels coming to you from the beautiful, beautiful region of Cape Cod here in the state of Massachusetts, where the trees are green, there is water everywhere, and the streets are full of the ubiquitous presence of people with New York and Connecticut plates. And I want to give a shout out to my favorite geometry teacher from high school from many eons ago, who loved to teach all of us in his geometry class about the importance of SAT words when we were getting ready to study and take the SAT, one of those lovely things that high school students throughout time and throughout the whole country have learned to loathe and grumble about. So, thank you to you, Mr. Doer, for teaching us the importance of large words that many of us will never use in our day-to-day lives. Ubiquitous was his favorite word to use constantly in most every sentence whenever possible, and I still remember it to this day, decades later. So there is something to be said for the great art of repetition. Keep saying it over and over and over and over and over again until people finally get it etched into the very cells of their brain. So I salute all of you watching who choose to learn what the meaning of the word ubiquitous is. Look it up online at the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and hey, use it in a sentence and then post that sentence in the comments for this video. That is my daily dare to you, my faithful and loyal viewers. And I'm going to introduce you today to my favorite viewer. This is my good friend, consoler, companion, co-pilot, and friend extraordinaire, Hercules. Hercules has been with me for many years, I think about 6 years now. He is my great companion. Sometimes he sits in the front of my car on the dashboard and serves as my co-pilot. Other times he sits at my end table in my bedroom as a little protector from all of the dark thoughts and scary things that are happening in the world today. And yes, I am a grown man, but I still love my teddy bear. And everyone, I think, should have their own cute little stuffed animal near them whenever they like, to be cuddly and loving to them, even though they're inanimate objects. So, please welcome Hercules to my feed. He will occasionally be making appearances whenever he so chooses, and I usually don't know ahead of time when he will make the choice to appear. So, please welcome him to my screen, and he's going to sit here and watch me today as I make a big fool of myself celebrating one of the most wonderful people and mentors I've ever had in my entire life. So he's going to sit here and watch me with rapt attention as I make a fool of myself and talk about, in this episode, one of the greatest influencers in my entire life. Actually, the greatest influencer of my entire life. So, who is this person, you ask? Well, you're going to find out in just a moment. But first I have to set the stage so that you will learn a little bit more about who this person is and this person's background. So, this is episode 7 of my YouTube channel. Like I said before, my name is Bernd Christian Giels. In the Netherlands, you would say Bernd Christian Giels. That's an approximately good version of how you would hear it in the Netherlands, where my ancestry came from in 1872. And I will tell you more about my ancestry, my ancestors in future episodes. Today's episode is focused on the person who gave me the love and support to become fascinated with my ancestors and the story of my ancestral history. Now, before I get to that story, I'm going to do one other thing in this video. As I said recently in an earlier episode, I am currently an essential worker. And quite honestly, I would argue that people who work in entertainment, in education, and journalism are also essential workers. Why? Because if we didn't have humor in our lives, if we didn't have information we can rely on in our lives, we would probably be going off the deep end, very upset, and many more things during this incredibly stressful time in the world here on planet Earth. So, humorists, tricksters, jokers, court jesters, theater people, artists, writers, playwrights, all of you people, I salute you and I say we are also essential workers. Now, I'm appropriately dressed, as you can see, in my pandemic gear. Like many of us these days, I am also working from home by creating content for this new channel. And you've probably seen in the news that some people are getting caught with their pants literally not even down, but not even on their bodies. There was a hilarious story not long ago about a reporter who was recording from home, and apparently he got the angle of his camera a little off, and you could see that he had bare legs showing because he wasn't wearing pants. And I'm not wearing pants today either. I'm wearing gym shorts. So I got my blazer, I got my lovely equal sign t-shirt because I believe all people should be treated equally. I got my gym shorts on, and I've got my lovely sandals on. So I am all ready to imitate a person working from home and talking to their colleagues on Zoom. Now, I'm going to demonstrate some of the hilarious and lovely motions that I now do in my current job as an essential worker at a grocery store. As you can well imagine, when your body is being required to do new things, new motions, you start to feel it. And that's true of pretty much anyone of any age and of any fitness level. So I'm going to take a few steps back here and show you what I call the dance of my current job. These are the many, many gestures that I do every day as I load grocery store shelves for my employer. So sit back, enjoy. This will only be maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes long, and then I'll get to the subject of my video today. Thank you for watching. So as you can see, that is about a 3-minute video of me doing the various fun, lovely motions of working, stocking shelves at your local grocery store if you live here in the state of Massachusetts. So I welcome you to contemplate on a daily basis the lovely, wonderful things that all of the essential workers in this country are doing every day to keep food stores stocked, to keep clinics open, to clean your teeth, to walk your dog, to make sure your house doesn't blow away in a storm. After all, people like inspectors and police officers and firefighters and grocery store clerks and tellers, they're all essential workers. And as I said, I also think that artists, every stripe and color and age and socioeconomic status and ethnicity and sexual orientation and gender identity and level of ability, we are all essential workers too. So now that I have made an utter fool of myself for the entire world to see, I'm going to strip off my blazer because it is pretty humid today here on the Cape, and I'm going to talk to you and tell you the story of my top influencer from my entire life. So, way back in the Stone Age of 2003, before a lot of teenagers alive today were not even a thought in their parents' brains, I was alive at the time. It was September of 2003, and I met a really amazing woman by the name of Dr. Pamela Colorado. And now you ask me, Barrett, did I hear that right? Her last name is an American state? Yes, her last name is the same as the American state of Colorado. And an offhand remark, I would just say, I love Colorado, so Colorado viewers, like me, find me, watch me. Colorado is a beautiful state. I have seen the mountains. I spent a summer in Denver. It is a beautiful place, and from what I hear lately, it's getting almost a little too discovered with a lot of people moving to Colorado from many other states. So go see it while you can and enjoy the mountain vistas. They are very beautiful. So, Dr. Pamela Colorado. I met her, as I said, in the Stone Age of September 2003. And today, I cannot honestly recall how exactly I met her. I might have to ask her sometime on Facebook or by a phone call if she remembers how we met, because it's kind of a blur that time in my life. An amazing blur, a good blur, but a blur nonetheless. So, Dr. Colorado, Dr. Pamela Colorado, is the founder and president of something called the Worldwide Indigenous Science Network. Now, you're going to ask me, well, what in the world is that? So, the Worldwide Indigenous Science Network, aka WISN for short, available online at wisn.org, is an organization that was started more than 30 years ago for the purpose of bringing together indigenous peoples, elders, traditional practitioners of medicine together for the purpose of preserving, celebrating, and sharing their ancestral ways of life, their cultures of origin, their rituals, their customs, their creation stories, and their sense of their place in the world. Now, I, as a young man at that time, I'm not going to reveal how young I was because I'm still hoping you folks can't guess where in my 40s I am. Haha. I met Dr. Colorado in September 2003, like I said. It was a fortuitous meeting, And I cannot for the life of me today imagine who I would have become if I had not met Dr. Colorado at all. She is what I would call, in LinkedIn speak, my top influencer. When the other day I sought to write out a list of the top 10 influencers in my life, the top influencer who is not a biological family member is Dr. Colorado. Dr. Colorado lives in Hawaii. I will be no more specific than that because I wish to respect her privacy. Dr. Colorado lives in Hawaii, and as a student of the academic program that was offered, it was a master's degree program, I had the beautiful, horrible requirement of having to journey to Hawaii once a semester for what we called residential learning intensives. Now you're probably thinking, boy, what a rough life, Aaron, to have to be required to travel to Hawaii, right? I mean, you must have had a really rough time of it going through that academic program if you had to go to Hawaii. I mean, it's like you're going to the dentist to have a root canal if you have to go to Hawaii, right? It wasn't quite like that. It was, looking back, one of the most beautiful, educational, transformative times of my own life. Like I said, if I had not met Dr. Colorado, I cannot for the life of me imagine who I would be today. If there was anything I would not change about my life, it is the fact that I met Dr. Colorado, known as Apila to her close friends and colleagues. I cannot imagine who I would be if I could and did change that one moment in my life. Now, I shared the name of her organization, Worldwide Indigenous Science Network. So, what else is that about besides what I just said? It is about indigenous science, that is in the name of the organization. And what is indigenous science? Indigenous science is, as I understand it, a method of scientific inquiry that is equally valid, practicable, and valuable as traditional Western scientific inquiry. Now, when I was going to college at Texas A&M University, I learned atmospheric science using a Western scientific methodology. I learned about how to understand the flow, the movement of the atmosphere using large quantities of math that would make some 8th graders tremble at the very thought of just learning algebra, let alone trigonometry or differential equations. I took a lot of math, and thankfully it was good that I was very gifted in math, and I attribute that to my paternal ancestry. All of my dad's family, we are very good at analysis. Many of my family members have worked in accounting, so we have a mind for numbers, which I have to this day. So as I studied atmospheric science at Texas A&M University, one thing that I wish I had experienced that I didn't was a sense of how to actually relate to the atmosphere. Now, perhaps you're saying, what in the world do you mean by that? What I mean by that is we learned how to draw a square and analyze the contents of the square, of different gases in the atmosphere you would find in a certain size of a square of the atmosphere. We learned how to describe its motion and the laws of physics that define how the atmosphere does and must move. But at no point in my education did I have any real education on the matter of how we should think about the atmosphere as a very important thing that is a vital part of why the Earth is even remotely habitable. Now, if you know anything about the other planets in the solar system, there are other planets in our own solar system that do have atmospheres, but none of them are really remotely inhabitable. Our neighboring planet Venus, which is theorized and believed to have once been much more similar to Earth in regards to the atmosphere it once had, is now a greenhouse effect gone berserk. The atmosphere there is so thick and so dense with carbon dioxide that the temperature on the surface of Venus is crushingly hot. Now, I grew up in Texas where it is crushingly hot by Earth standards, but nothing that we can experience here on this planet compares to the heat of the planet Venus. Now, other planets have atmospheres. Mars has an atmosphere. It's very cold there. The outer planets have atmospheres, but they're filled with things like methane, which you wouldn't want to be inhaling in large quantities. So, in short, we are a very amazing planet. We have this great atmosphere, but nowhere really in my undergraduate education, whether it was atmospheric science or natural resources policy or environmental studies more generally, none of my classes did I actually have any dialogue, any curriculum focused on how we should think of the atmosphere as human beings, how we should treat the atmosphere, how we should take care of the atmosphere, as it would be pretty much impossible to live in a comfortable way if the Earth had no atmosphere. We'd have to terraform the planet in a very remarkable way. Or if the planet was encircled by an atmosphere that was very hot or very cold. So we are very fortunate to have the atmosphere that we do. And we're also very fortunate, in my estimation, that the atmosphere continues to provide the services, the heat, the warmth, the moisture that it does, as we continue to pollute the atmosphere with large quantities of what are known as greenhouse gases. And I'll perhaps go into that whole story in a subsequent episode. So, that was my original training, was in atmospheric science. When I completed my degree, I was both excited, but I also had a lot of unanswered questions. And sometimes that's what happens when you get educated, is you leave school with more questions than what you had when you started school. And that is actually, in my mind, a very good sign, because it says to you, it says to others, this person has done some critical thinking and has wanted to ask questions and wants to learn more about the world, maybe more than they even wanted to learn when they started school. So, I met Dr. Colorado in 2004. I had this background in atmospheric science. I also had spent some time in my 20s in a religious order. Another whole story. I'll put that aside and talk about that another time. And Hercules is very pleased and agrees that I should put that story aside and maybe tell it another time. So, I came to Dr. Colorado wanting answers. I wanted answers to questions that I could not even at the time articulate very well. There was much in my heart and in my mind that was vague and gray, I should say. What I mean by gray is unclear. I knew I wanted something profound, but it was challenging at the time, despite me being a fairly articulate person. It was challenging for me to put my feelings and thoughts and desires into words. And over the course of the next 3 years, I learned an immense amount about myself, about who I am, and about the world around me. When people ask me, what is the purpose of this academic training that you got? The way I typically answer is to say, going through that program gave me a sense of who I am as a person, of what my place is in the world, and of the incredible beauty of the planet that we are fortunate to call our home. In this academic program, Dr. Colorado had crafted a course of study that gives what I call traditionally westernized peoples the opportunity to educate themselves about their ancestral heritage. And here I'm using heritage as a very comprehensive word. I'm using heritage to describe your culture of origin, your language of origin, your customs, the stories that your ancestors regaled with one another with. And think here, for example, of movies and stories featuring people sitting closely together in a hall or a hotel or a lodge and telling stories to while away the hours during the bitter, dark, cold months of winter that are inevitably and deeply associated with the peoples of Europe, at least. So I had the great pleasure of studying at Colorado for 3 years, and one of the crowning achievements, one of the crowning experiences that all students are required, or were required to undergo during this time, was to make a journey to the land of their actual ancestors. So in the year 2005, I made a journey to the village in what is today the Netherlands to learn more about and to see the very village where my ancestors came from in the year 1872. Like many people originally from Europe, my paternal ancestors left the Netherlands, embarked on a transatlantic voyage, and came here in the hope of creating a better life. In another episode, I will happily share the details of how my ancestors embarked on this journey in 1872, and how in the world I, several generations later, was born where I ended up being born and living the life that I have thus far. It's a long story. I've lived a little while, so it will take at least one episode to share that. So, in this episode, I'm finally going to share a little bit more about what Indigenous science teaches us and how it is practiced. So as I said earlier, Indigenous science is a form of scientific inquiry. There are some ways that Indigenous science is similar to Western science, and there are some ways that Indigenous science is very distinct and different. The methods are similar in the sense that both seek to gain knowledge about the world. They seek to understand and observe the natural phenomena around us, the flora and fauna of the world, the atmosphere and its motions, the behavior of water, the water cycle, and how to live within that world. However, now comes the major distinction between Western science and Indigenous science. And it's the answer. This difference is at the heart of the question that nagged at me in my mind when I completed my undergraduate degree at Texas A&M University. What is the proper relationship that I should have to the world around me? What is the proper relationship that I should have with myself? Who am I? Why am I here? And what is my purpose? These are all those huge questions that can keep some of us awake at night. Sometimes awake at night a lot. So, unlike Western science, Indigenous science does not seek to control the elements, to control Mother Nature, to control the elements, to control fire, to control water, to control earth. It does not seek to attempt to ensure that earthquakes never happen. It wouldn't imagine trying to stop a volcanic eruption through some sort of process that might be invented using a methodology common to Western science, Western scientific inquiry. Rather than trying to control the world, to control the elements of the world, practitioners of Indigenous science seek to live within the world in a sustainable, healthy way by recognizing the reality that it truly is not possible to control the earth. It is not possible to control with 100% effectiveness the motions of the elements of the earth. I know this for a fact because I studied atmospheric science. You cannot forcibly control the atmosphere to the point that you could actually move every single atom, every single molecule of the atmosphere of the planet. You cannot literally do that. Now, there have been experiments done in the field of atmospheric science in any number of things in the past. There have been experiments in seeding clouds to see how that would change the output of moisture, the output of rainfall over a certain spot. There have been ideas to deflect hurricanes from being on courses that might destroy a huge city by traveling to the hurricane in an aircraft and perhaps seeding the clouds of the hurricane to change the formation of the hurricane, to change the circulation, to change the central core of the hurricane, in the hope of somehow deflecting the hurricane and having it go on a different course. And yes, these experiments do produce results. They do produce changes in what the experiments are attempting to impact, but they don't ultimately control the phenomenon. Never has there been an experiment where we have flown to a hurricane and through some action made it just absolutely vanish out of thin air. The laws of atmospheric physics wouldn't allow that. You can't destroy energy, you can only transform it. But you cannot destroy it. That would violate basic laws of physics. And I'm not going to go into all of the physics of energy because that is a huge story. But my point is that indigenous science does not seek to try to control the world around us. It seeks to help us to learn how to live in the world in a healthy way, in a healthy relationship with ourselves, with our fellow human beings, and with the world and all of its beauty around us. Like I said, the flora and fauna. So, and lastly here, going to just note a couple other distinctions of indigenous science and not go into them in detail, and then conclude this episode. So, other noteworthy differences between Western science and indigenous science. Indigenous science seeks to understand and complete our relationships with all living things. Now, when I first read that, it was a mind-blowing statement. What do you mean, understand and complete our relationships? It's a question that I live with every day. It's a question that any person practicing science is going to be someone who's practicing science and very intent upon it. It's a question that those practitioners will be asking all the time because it's a question that's never not relevant. If you truly want to live in some sort of harmonious relationship with the world, if you want to be living in accord to who you are, if you want to be in relationship with others, then this question of how you engage in complete relationships will be always on your mind. So, on a related note, this paradigm of thinking, indigenous scientific thinking and inquiry, states that all of nature, all of the world around us, the flora and fauna around us, are considered to be not only intelligent, but alive. And I will promise you that in a future episode, I will flesh out this concept because this is huge. This is a major idea that takes some real description. Next, indigenous science is holistic. And what the word holistic means in this sentence is it draws on all senses, including the spiritual and psychic parts of ourselves. Again, I'm not going to go into a large description of that at this time. I will plan to make an episode in the future to describe what that means. And finally, the last tenet that I want to share. Now, these are not all of the principles, by the way. These are the ones that I find most fascinating. So this is not an exhaustive list. Indigenous science considers humor to be a critical ingredient in all truth-seeking. Humor is considered to balance gravity. Now, I don't mean gravity here as the gravity that keeps us from gravity in this meaning does not mean the force that keeps me from flying off into the atmosphere. Gravity here I mean as synonymous with seriousness, ponderousness, heaviness, blackness, darkness, weightiness. That feeling you have when you wake up and you have 50 things to do and you don't know where to start and you're overwhelmed. Imagine that feeling. That is the feeling you feel when you feel gravity. The gravity of a situation. Now, one of the things that I love about this training that I will always be grateful for is Dr. Colorado's teachings, obviously, and that indigenous science specifically had this particular tenet in it, this particular idea of humor being critical, because for so many years I was, I would say, a hidden humorist, a hidden joker, a hidden court jester. In archetypal language, there is this wonderful archetype called the trickster. It's also sometimes synonymously called the fool. And there's a whole episode I can do on the fool archetype, the trickster archetype. And I promise today, here July 1st, I will make an episode about that. Because as I showed you earlier when I was doing the dance of my job, I am very much a consummate trickster and performance artist. I've sung in multiple choruses, I like to draw, I like to paint, I like to write, I like to dance. There's really no art that I don't like to do. So, there is no way you could not call me an artist and a trickster, and in the positive meaning of the word, a fool. So, that concludes my episode today. Yes, this is the longest episode I've ever made. Oh my God, it was 37 minutes, Barrett. I don't have 37 minutes to pay attention to anything these days, right? Make time for it because I promise you, I'm going to do my very best to entertain you while I also seek to educate and inspire you with my content. And yes, this is my dark teacher finger pointing at you and saying, you better come back and watch tomorrow or I'll be so disappointed in you. So, thank you for watching this episode. Hercules is so glad that you joined to partake of this wonderful episode in which I talked about my very most powerful, influential, mentoring influencer, Dr. Pamela Colorado, the Worldwide Indigenous Science Network. I highly encourage you to go online, to go to www.wisn.org, or to speak as I would have spoken when I lived in Texas, www.wisn.org, to learn about the Worldwide Indigenous Science Network and the beautiful, wonderful, vital work that this organization has been doing for 3 decades, at least. So, thank you for watching today, folks. I will now finally shut my mouth as I know you have to get on to 20 different things. See you soon, hopefully tomorrow. This is Barrett Christian Giels signing out. Hercules actually told me that I did a good job today. He usually doesn't say much. Bye, everyone!